Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to look into something really fundamental in healthcare, but maybe something you haven't thought much about, the hospital bed mattress. Yeah, you probably think, well, it's just a place to rest, right? But what if it's actually, a critical piece of the puzzle for patient recovery and driving a huge global market? Seriously, this deep dive is all about the foam mattress market just for hospital beds. It's surprisingly dynamic and it's growing fast. So, our mission today to unpack this growth, look at what's driving it, and, well, what it tells us about healthcare priorities around the world. We're using insights from a market research report by Cognitive Market Research. It's called Global Foam Mattress Market for Hospital Beds Growth and Trends. And honestly, when I first saw the figures, I was genuinely surprised by the scale for mattresses.
It is fascinating, isn't it? And I think it's important to grasp right away, this isn't just about like a bit more comfort. This growth really signals a pretty fundamental shift. It's about the quality of patient care that's being prioritized now globally. We're sort of moving past just the basic medical stuff to thinking about the whole environment as part of healing. It's not just comfort, though, that matters. It's about fewer complications, maybe shorter stays, a more humane approach. That wasn't always top of the list when budgets were tight.
And the scale you mentioned, the numbers really back that up. It's not a small niche. The report lays out this really robust global market. Think about this. Global sales were already $1,157.24 million back in 2024. And it's picking up steam, projected to hit $1,536.8 million by 2025, and then surge to maybe $2,700.2 million by 2033. That works out to a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 7.35%. Pretty solid, consistent growth. So, okay, beyond the big numbers, what does this really tell us? Is it just about buying more beds?
Well, no, not just beds. You hit on it earlier. It's about what those numbers mean for patient care. The report points to an increasing focus on patient comfort, definitely, but also hygiene and just the overall quality of care in hospitals and clinics everywhere. It's like there's this growing recognition that, even small details like the mattress can have a big impact on how well someone recovers. Think about pressure ulcers, bed sores. A bad mattress makes those much more likely, and those lead to infections, longer stays, more costs, more suffering. So a better foam mattress, it's an investment against all that, not just a comfort item.
That really connects the dots. Makes perfect sense. If something simple can prevent complications,
Right.
yeah. But I guess the growth isn't the same everywhere. The report breaks it down by region, right? Let's start with North America. It sounds like they're leading the pack. The projection there is $460.58 million in 2021, going to over $1,037.74 million by 2033. That's substantial.
Absolutely. North America's lead, it's largely because of two things. Really advanced healthcare infrastructure already in place, and a big demand for pressure relief mattresses. That demand is strongly linked to the aging population there. More older patients mean more need for beds that prevent those pressure ulcers. Looking at the countries, the U.S. is growing steadily, 6.68% CAGR, but Canada is actually faster, 7.97%, and Mexico's strong too at 7.43%. So yeah, established systems really investing in this specific area of patient care.
Okay, so North America is kind of setting a benchmark with its established systems. What about across the pond in Europe? Sounds like a different picture. Still growing strongly, though, from $334.44 million to $761.3 million by 2033. But you said diverse?
Yeah, diverse is a good word. Europe's growth is also driven by healthcare investments in aging demographics like North America. But you see more variation. You've got high growth spots like France at 7.8% CAGR and Italy at 7.43%. And then the category rest of Europe is collectively growing really fast, 8.54%. That shows it's widespread. But then, countries like Sweden, Denmark, Luxembourg, they show more moderate growth. Maybe their markets are more mature or investment priorities differ slightly. It's not uniform.
Interesting. Okay, now let's shift to Asia Pacific. The report flags this as one of the fastest growing regions overall, going from about $218 million in 2021 to nearly $550 million by 2033. That's an 8.15% CAGR.
Exactly. Asia Pacific is definitely a hotspot. You see really high growth in India, 8.93%, Singapore too, 8.72%, and Southeast Asia as a whole, 8.52%. What's behind it? Well, rapid expansion of hospitals. For one, lots of new infrastructure going up, plus more government spending on public health and just generally a rising awareness about patient comfort being important. And of course, you have major players like China and Japan with their advanced healthcare sectors also contributing significantly. They're upgrading too.
Makes sense. Lots of development happening there. And South America, the report mentions steady growth there too, from $78.69 million up to $201.37 million by 2033.
That's right. Steady is a good description. The leaders there are Argentina, actually highest at 8.86%, then the rest of South America category at 8.67%. Brazil's also showing solid growth at 7.95%. It really reflects improving healthcare standards across the board in the region, and like elsewhere, more investment flowing into medical equipment and patient care environments.
Okay. And the Middle East? Sounds like maybe slower growth there. The report pegs it at 5.76% CAGR. So growing, but maybe not as fast as some other regions.
Yeah.
$40.5 million to $81.3 million.
Correct. More moderate progress overall, but there are definite bright spots. The UAE is growing at 6.87% and Egypt at 6.33%. So they're emerging contributors. Countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey show steadier, but somewhat slower growth. Still, it's part of a modernization trend in their healthcare.
But the region that really jumped out at me from the report, Africa. It calls Africa an emerging and promising market with the highest AGR globally, a full 10.84%. That takes it from just $24.3 million in 2021, projected up to $79.14 million by 2033. That's a huge percentage leap.
It really is. And it's incredibly significant. It tells you a lot about where investment focus is shifting, particularly into developing healthcare systems. Nigeria is growing fast at 10.54%, South Africa close behind at 10.49%, and the rest of Africa category is actually leading the whole continent at 11.25%. It's driven by, increased investment in healthcare, absolutely, but also a big push to improve access to care in places that didn't have much before. It's a really positive indicator for the future of healthcare infrastructure and patient well-being on the continent. Foundational improvements.
So if we pull back and look at the big picture, connecting all these regional stories, what are the absolute core reasons? We've touched on them, but let's nail down the why.
Boiling it down, the report really stresses a few key things globally. First, that rising awareness about preventing pressure ulcers, bed sores, huge issue, especially with aging populations and longer care needs. Second, more attention being paid to patient mobility issues, getting patients moved safely and comfortably. And third, just a general push for better ergonomics in hospital beds overall, making the whole setup work better for both patients and staff. And what's so fascinating, as you said, is how these technical sounding details, ergonomics, partial relief translate directly into better outcomes, faster healing, fewer problems.
And it's not just awareness driving it, is it? I assume the mattresses themselves are getting better, material science. Plus, that whole shift towards focusing more on long-term care must be a huge factor too, right? Making the market sustainable.
It's exactly right on both counts. There have been significant strides in foam technology, new materials that offer better support, pressure distribution, durability, hygiene, all of it. And yes, the increasing focus on long-term care, chronic conditions, post-operative recovery, all that requires better, more specialized bedding.
So the report concludes, quite convincingly, I think, that these factors combine the innovation, the awareness, the need. This market is set for really robust growth for at least the next decade. It shows a deep global commitment.
It really is striking. A mattress, something so simple, seemingly, but it's right there at the forefront of healthcare innovation, directly impacting millions of people's care quality. It just underscores how every single piece of healthcare infrastructure matters. No detail is too small. Absolutely. And if you connect it to that bigger picture, it shows this global move towards more holistic, more patient-focused care. That's the thread running through all this data, which I think leaves you with a really interesting question to ponder. With ongoing material science advances and this growing global focus on patient well-being, how much further could this transform the patient recovery journey? Not just the beds, but everything around it. And maybe think about what other, mundane medical items might be quietly undergoing a similar revolution right now. What's the next mattress story? Something to consider.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a topic that, let's be honest, might not seem glamorous at first glance. Hospital foam mattresses.
Right. Seems pretty basic.
Yeah, exactly. But don't let that fool you. We're talking about something absolutely critical here. It's actually kind of quietly revolutionizing patient recovery and, maybe surprisingly, even helping hospitals save significant money. So we're going to extract some really interesting insights today from a source called Excerpts from Hospital Foam Mattresses, Market Dynamics and Innovations by Cognitive Market Research.
And it really is an interesting area. This goes way beyond just basic patient comfort.
Right.
That's fundamental for infection control. It's a huge factor in speeding up recovery times, and it represents a major investment in a facility's overall hygiene. It's efficiency.
Efficiency.
Especially, in those really critical settings like long-term care or post-op recovery wards. These mattresses, they're quite literally the foundation for good patient outcomes.
So, okay, they seem unassuming, but clearly they're vital. What's really driving this surge in demand then? What are the big shifts making these specialized mattresses so essential right now?
Well, probably the single biggest driver, the most impactful one, is the huge focus now on preventing pressure ulcers.
Bed sores, right?
Exactly what most people call bed sores. And these aren't just, painful for the patient. They're incredibly expensive to treat. They can really drag out hospital stays.
I can imagine.
So foam mattresses, they're just incredibly effective at spreading body weight out evenly, which means they act almost like a protective cushion, really
Sure.
cutting down on that localized pressure.
Hmm.
It's technology that basically turns a simple bed into a vital piece of safety equipment. Essential for recovery in hospitals, sure, but also rehab centers, nursing homes.
So it's really shifted from just being about comfort to being a core tool against a major healthcare threat. That definitely changes how you think about them. What else is feeding into this need?
Another really big force is, well, demographics. The global population is aging.
Mm. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
And with that comes more chronic conditions. So geriatric patients, people with mobility issues, they need specialized bedding, something that offers real therapeutic support.
Okay, makes sense.
And this is where the more advanced versions, like, say, memory foam mattresses, the kind that sort of molds to your body,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
they really excel here. They help keep the spine aligned,
Mhm.
offer amazing pressure relief. Honestly, it's a game changer for frail patients,
Yeah.
especially those stuck in bed for long periods.
That connects perfectly, yeah. The older demographic needing more support. Are there wider factors too, like economic or maybe governmental influences?
Oh, absolutely. Government spending on healthcare infrastructure, that's playing a huge role, especially in developing countries.
How so?
Well, lots of nations are upgrading their medical facilities, and foam-based mattresses, they're now seen as standard care, not a luxury item anymore.
Right, baseline standard.
Exactly. So we're seeing really fast adoption. Think public health systems across Southeast Asia, or even private hospital chains down in Latin America. There's this big push for better quality, for bedding that's infection resistant, ergonomic. It's a massive wave of modernization happening.
Wow, okay. So it sounds like a really positive story overall. But, there are always challenges, aren't there? What are the main headwinds? Any big restraints on this growth?
Oh, for sure. There are definitely hurdles. One really significant one is just the cost, especially for the premium foam mattresses, the ones with, say, cooling gels.
Ah, the fancy tech.
Right. Those gels that help keep patients cool, prevent overheating. Great features, but they can be prohibitively expensive,
Yeah.
especially for like public hospitals working on tight budgets or maybe smaller rural facilities.
Yeah, that's the classic healthcare problem, isn't it? The best stuff costs the most.
It really is a tough balancing act.
So does that introduce a new kind of long-term cost issue for hospitals? I mean, what about how long they last? Especially in a demanding hospital environment.
That's a great point. And yeah, it leads straight into the second big challenge. Durability, under tough clinical conditions.
Okay.
These foam mattresses, when they're used constantly and subjected to the really intensive cleaning and sanitization protocols hospitals need, well, I often break down faster than mattresses made from other materials.
Right, the wear and tear must be immense.
It is, and that means more frequent replacements, which naturally drives up maintenance budgets. It's a particular issue in high-volume hospitals where beds are almost never empty. So it's not just the initial price tag, it's that ongoing cost, too.
Gotcha. Constant turnover.
And then there's another persistent challenge, sort of across the board. A lack of standardization
Standardization. In what way?
in mattress design specifications. Hospitals often struggle to find mattresses that fit their specific bed frames properly or that meet consistent quality and safety standards.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, you get variations in foam density, how firm they are, the antimicrobial properties.
Hmm.
It varies a lot between different manufacturers, and that makes procurement really complicated. Can even make it harder to comply with medical regulations.
So yeah, it's not just picking a mattress off a shelf. It's navigating this whole complex system of compatibility regulations. Okay, so given these costs, the durability issues, the standardization problem,
Hmm.
what's the outlook? Where is this heading for patient care? Are there exciting innovations coming that might tackle some of this?
Absolutely. The innovation side is actually really dynamic.
Mhm.
One of the most exciting things happening is the widespread move towards integrating antimicrobial and waterproof covers.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, infection control is Well, it's always been huge, but it's paramount now, especially after recent global health events. So these covers, these protective layers, they don't just drastically cut down the risk of contamination, they also make cleaning way simpler.
Right, easier cleanup, less chance of bugs.
Exactly. So it helps maintain those super strict hygiene standards. This trend is like rapidly becoming the expected norm now.
That's brilliant. It hits both hygiene and helps protect the mattress core, maybe helping with durability too.
Honestly.
What else are we seeing? Anything in the actual foam design?
Yes, another really significant innovation is the development of multi-layered and zoned foam designs.
Zoned. What does that mean?
Think of it like this. Different parts of the mattress have different densities or maybe special cutouts. They're engineered very precisely to support specific body parts in different ways.
Oh, like softer under the heels, firmer under the back.
Sort of, yeah. It allows for much better airflow, and it targets those specific pressure points really meticulously, which is obviously crucial for helping bedridden patients recover faster.
Mm-hmm.
This zone support, it really helps with spinal alignment, prevents discomfort during long stays. So these designs are super attractive for, say, post-op units or ICUs, places where every little bit of comfort and targeted support really aids the healing process.
Wow. So it's really not just a simple block of foam anymore. It's becoming almost like a personalized support system for each patient. That's a huge leap.
It really is.
And what about the environment? Is that factoring in at all? Any shifts towards sustainability?
Yes, definitely. We're finally seeing a clear shift toward more eco-friendly and sustainable foam materials.
That's good to hear.
It is. Hospitals are, increasingly looking at their environmental responsibility, their overall footprint, alongside patient care.
Right. It's becoming part of the package.
Exactly. So some manufacturers are now offering mattresses made from things like plant-based foams, reducing reliance on petroleum, or they're using recyclable components. The key is that they maintain high performance while also lessening the ecological impact. It's a growing trend, driven both by what hospitals are asking for and by manufacturer innovation.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. We've seen how this hospital foam mattress market is definitely expanding, right? Driven by aging populations, more chronic health issues, and just this ongoing modernization of healthcare everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Steady growth.
But challenges like cost and durability and maybe standardization, they're still there. They persist. Yet it's pretty clear that some really smart innovation, plus this growing focus on sustainability, they're really paving the way for future growth in what is actually a super crucial sector.
Precisely. Hospitals, healthcare providers, they're increasingly seeing these foam mattresses less as just a disposable product and more as a long-term investment. An investment in patient care, yes, but also in their own operational efficiency.
Right.
It just shows, doesn't it, how every single detail, no matter how small or seemingly mundane it looks, actually contributes significantly to that bigger picture of health and recovery.
It really does. So, next time you think about all the complexities of modern healthcare, maybe take a moment. Think about just how much advanced tech and careful design goes into something as seemingly simple as a hospital mattress, how it directly impacts a patient's journey back to health. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday objects around us might be hiding such complex layers of innovation? What stood out most to you from today's deep dive?